Well, I am getting better about recording earlier because last time I recorded my video like 5:40 in the morning, which is ridiculous. But hey, I'm recording in 2:21 in the morning. Yippee. Yeah, I guess I'm a night owl. Who'd thunk? Alright, well, let's move on to the day, shall we? So, I was woken up by my mom, who was asking for help on how to diagnose the dishwasher that sadly recently malfunctioned the other day. So we looked around the dishwasher. We tried to scan for like some kind of code or something to see what model number it was or what have you. We did find a model number, and I did take a picture of it. I used Google Circle Search. We found a way to troubleshoot based on that model number, and what we found was to turn off the breaker or like unplug the device for like 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes is up, return it on, and then like go through some diagnosis, like press like I forget what buttons to press in what order, but press some buttons in a particular order. And if it reignites, then it's great. But if it's giving you like some, gumption, like just throwing beeps at you, then it's probably time to put it out to pasture. So we followed those instructions. While we were waiting the 10 minutes, we ate a delicious chorizo and potato burrito provided by our family friend, which I was very grateful for, by the way. Yeah, and we just ate, enjoy each other's company until eventually it was then time to check if the device still worked. So we turned on the breaker for that particular area. My mom wanted me to show her where the breaker switch was, and then after that, she pressed a few buttons in a particular order to see what would happen, and ultimately the machine didn't get resurrected. It did not resurrect. So yeah, it looks like we got ourselves a lemon. I mean, to be fair, that's putting it in a bad light. We did get at least like a good 4 or 5 years use out of it, but the device did come out back in 2018, and apparently, we asked Google this. The average lifespan of a dishwasher is between 7 and 9 years. So the fact we were able to get as much use out of it as we were able to over that extended period of time, pretty nice. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I was woken up to like my mom using like a water vac, trying to suck the water at the bottom to see if that might help. But lo and behold, we found out that it ultimately is not really working out, which is a shame. But oh well. So yeah, after we discovered that, I remember I needed to use the restroom. After I was done with that, I needed to get dressed and ready for work because I had to be at work at 12 today, which is unusual for me. Normally, I have been going to work for the past many weeks now, from 3 to 11, so closing shift. But for whatever reason, this week they decided to give me 2 straight days in a row of 12 to 9, which is interesting. Wonder why. Oh, anywho, I did get dressed. I combed my hair, and then I said goodbye to my mom and family friend. I told them that I love them, and then I drove off to work, where when I eventually arrived, I got out of my vehicle and I got into the store. I greeted my coworkers. One of them was surprised to see the new change, and I described exactly what was going on and how I felt about it, and they seemed to understand. So then I punched in, and when I punched in, I checked the schedule to see if I was on anything. Turns out I had my first hour was front end bagging. Second hour was sweeps. Sorry, my bad. Second hour was lot. And then the next 2 hours was just front end bagging again. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything interesting? Well, I gotta be honest. I was wearing my annoyance and disapproval of the decision that was made on my sleeve today more so than I really should have. I mean, I try to be positive, but when it comes to things that are out of my control, that I feel like I have no say in, that affect me in a way where I like, you know, don't like, then I end up wearing my emotions on my sleeve. So yeah, I apologize for people who maybe were caught in my crosshairs, and I don't mean that in like a derogatory, oh, I was attacking people intentionally kind of sense. But what I mean is like I was like not feeling it today. I was pretty gloomy. And by crosshairs, I mean like people seeing me like not having a good day kind of look. So if that's what you were wondering, there you go. But yeah, I just tried to do it, do my best and not let my emotions get in the way of the job. Yeah, and then I went on my first break where I went upstairs. I was originally going to do a breath work meditation, but there was a coworker who sat next to me, and then we somehow got into the conversation of like endlessly clean, free, renewable energy and like how they believe that oil will be here forever, and how I was talking about like, yeah, well, there's this thing called fusion energy that's being deeply researched, and as soon as it's implemented into the wider grid system, then it'll bring the cost of energy way down, which means that we don't have to rely on things like crude oil anymore because we have endless free clean energy essentially. And then we got into a conversation about where we mine it, how helium-3 on the moon is like the primary location for the fuel source for helium-3, and like the costs and transporting that and mining and all that. It was a really complex conversation, and oddly enough, it weirdly ended with like, yeah, well, Netflix, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix, but they chose not to, thinking it wasn't worth the investment for $1 million. Boy, oh, did they mess up. So yeah, I think we got into that because like we're talking about like, ooh, we don't know if this fusion thing will work out or not, but if it does, then it's a big deal. Sorry, excuse me. So yeah, really interesting. Went back downstairs. Continued my duties until eventually I punched out for lunch, where I decided to go to McDonald's to get the Big Arch meal. I was feeling a large fry with a Big Arch burger with a Diet Dr. Pepper today. I think it just because I was in such a sour mood, and also I forgot to bring lunch today. I just wanted something kind of distract me from my from my how I was feeling today. So I did that, and it did a decent enough job. I was like trying to watch this guy called the Sneezing Monkey who likes to debunk UFO videos, trying to watch these these new UAP videos that were recently leaked by the Department of War. However, the problem was that because it was a streaming video, the playback was constantly stopping over and over again, despite me putting my phone in data saver mode. so I wasn't able to really watch it in a way where it was like, ooh, this is really well made, really well done. So instead, I switched gears to a lady continuing to talk about the missing scientist. She was talking about like the guy who went, uh, unalived by the Tesla vehicle, where he was destroyed beyond recognition. Then the Amy Askridge lady, and she was going to talk about a third scientist guy, but by then I was like, done with my lunch. I was pretty naughty. I decided to have a McDonald's ice cream with a cookie to finish off my time there. I gotta be honest, the cookie was different. Like, I remember before, like, the cookie would always be very, it felt like it'd been sitting there for a while, but this cookie tasted like they freshly made it. It makes me wonder if, like, they have, like, dough balls that they just throw into, like, an air fryer and heat up real quick for, like, customers, which, honestly, is, I think that would be a much better way of going about it, because you're getting your cookie hot and fresh instead of, like, like all old and sitting there and tasting like there's like dust layered on it, and no one likes that. People want their cookies fresh, I think. But yeah, it was pretty good. Was it the best cookie I ever had? I wouldn't say so, but it was decent. Um, Overall. So yeah, I left back. I left to go back to work. When I arrived, my first order of business was doing a lot. And when I was doing a lot, I noticed like I felt like kind of like a little bit uncomfortable, a little gassy from the food I ate, so that was pretty annoying. And then after that, 2 hours straight of bagging. I remember there was like this conversation like where this lady was like talking with like, you know, one of my coworkers about like I don't know what they were exactly talking about, but I think like I was saying I mentioned like aliens or something, and then like there was like this guy who decided to butt in the conversation. It was like three people down who said they're not real. Read the Bible instead or something. I'm like, what the heck? Oh, bro, this was a conversation. I mean, like when I entered it, I was at least like right next to the conversation, and I think the reason I brought up aliens was because they were saying like talking about like government secrets or something, and so I thought it was relevant to the issue. So at least I believe I had a valid reason. But this guy, he's just butts in like to a private conversation, like three like people down, wanting to act like he's all that in a bag of chips. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I just thought that was like, whoa, what's this person doing? That's crazy. But anywho, yeah. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, on during my lot, for that hour, it looked like there was like this customer that was like harassing one of the coworkers. So, me and another coworker asked them if they were okay and if like they were being harassed, and they said no, I wasn't. They were just talking about the weather, and then me and my other coworker were like, yeah, well, if someone gives you trouble again, we're gonna Dragon Ball fuse this problem out of the way and kick their butts. And we even did that fuse like thing. So they thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. So yeah, that was a little fun story I thought to include. Moving along, yeah, after that customer encounter, really not much to say. Just to bagging for the second hour. Third hour, I did my sweeps. I had 1 hour sweeps today, total break from the non-stop sweeps that I usually get from my 3 to 11 shifts. And, yeah, just kept the floors clean. So, check the restrooms. There you go. And then my last hour was spent doing the lot, and I was asked by one of my coworkers to wipe down 4 check stands. Lot was really busy, so I had to dedicate most of my energy to bringing the carts in, and I could only dedicate so much energy to doing half of the check stands. And it was 2 smaller check stands, so it wasn't the full big ones. But yeah, at least I did something. I could say, hey, I did that instead of nothing at all. But to be fair, I was busy doing something else. So, I mean, I guess all the other coworkers could say that, yeah, I've been doing this, so I need some help. So, yeah. Anywho, I punched out. I said goodbye to all my coworkers, and I drove home. Where when I got there, my mom and family friend were watching some show on television. I didn't know what it was, but I decided to watch my own thing on my own phone. Before that, I got my earbuds. I took out the memory foam. I like washed them over running water because like they were pretty itchy last time. And then I listened to some like Dan Dingle videos where he made like an April Fool's joke where it was like, actual footage that he like labeled as AI generated when really it wasn't, and he tried to distract people from that by like shaving his beard. And he looked like in the comments to see like on April Fools if anyone was fooled, and yeah, no, not many people were fooled. They pretty much called that bluff fairly quickly. Um, yeah, and after that, I remember um, I got back to work on that Sea Dance 2 little animation thingy that I was like working on like yesterday all the way up until like 5 in the morning, 5:40 in the morning. Yeah, crazy, I know. And I decided to spend an hour on it. But then an hour ballooned to 2 hours, and then that ballooned into 2.5 hours, and I was like, okay, finally, I'll just get ready for work and all. So I took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, and then I continued to work on the video because I was trying to get this particular shot of like a character viewing like this like event happening throughout their periphery vision. I don't want to make it like kind of foreboding and kind of uncomfortable, but there's certain glitches or things that I don't like about it that I'm trying to fix. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. Um, and then I decided to make this update video. So tomorrow's Mother's Day, and what should I do for Mother's Day? Well, part of me wants to make homemade funnel cakes for my mom and family friend, because I know how much they like funnel cakes. So, wondering if like I could successfully do that, if that would work out well. But that gonna have to wake up early and do it. So I better post the video and get to sleeping. So, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated, and I hope you all have a great Mother's Day. Well, today, because today is Mother's Day. I was gonna say tomorrow, but it's 2:40, well, 2:39 in the morning, so might as well say it now. So happy Mother's Day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody, and have a good night. Button takes a while to activate. Okay, bye. Still didn't work. Okay, one more time.